Hi, welcome. Hi, Smars.
What's happening, Kel?
Nothing.
No.
You know, just a big day. It's a big day.
Yes. Why? What's so big about it?
What might be happening? I don't know.
It's New Year's Eve.
I wish that we had thought to come up with a catchy name for tonight. Like 'twas the night before or something.
Oh, well, let's go back. Everybody.
And we're going to go back to one.
Turn off your televisions. We're taking it from one.
We're taking it from one. Hi, welcome.
Inauguration.
Oh, damn it.
Damn it. Man.
Back to one.
Oh.
Hi, welcome to Genuine Nonsense.
Hi.
I'm McFarland.
And I'm Christina Smars.
That seemed forced. Did it feel forced?
It felt a little forced, yeah.
Back to one.
I was not going to
he's not indulging us anymore. That was it.
Yeah. Story of my life, am I
right? Hey, so welcome back to Genuine Nonsense, the show where we discuss everything genuine. And sassy producer Matt is on the case.
He'd like us to move it along. So
thanks, Loaf. So we're episode 2 of season 2. 2 and 2,
2 and
the
2.
night before the inauguration.
Mm-hmm. Big doings
Mhm.
all around. I can feel that energy is high. People are excited. People are nervous. People just don't know what to do with themselves.
Right? It's like that nervous energy of something good is going to happen and something bad could happen. So can we just get to it?
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling today.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that going around.
I think so too.
It sounds like all of the preparations are going great. Like, there's a lot going on.
Yep.
There's a lot of security. There's a lot of great plans in place. The flags out, like it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really beautiful event regardless.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I also feel kind of bad for Biden and Kamala because it's, and we use one name for them.
Yeah.
Because we're friends.
Bamala? But, huh?
Oh, you mean like a Beyonce, like Jay-Z, like...
Is that not what you meant?
No.
Okay.
However, I do like that. I wish we had that too. Next week.
We'll
work on it. We'll get them a jazzy name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the inauguration, and I think it's going to be good. And I think everybody just needs to walk slowly.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact, and let's just let this happen.
I think just breathe, breathe and let out some love.
Yeah. The past 4 years has felt like when you are walking to your front door and you see a skunk in your path and you're like, I can't go to the door because the skunk will get me. But I need to go inside. Right. That's what this whole thing has felt like.
Last year I had the opposite thing where there was a hawk eating a rabbit right outside my front door.
Holy food chain.
And I was on my way out to work and I just saw this white streak across the sidewalk. And I thought, a bird had a real good crap. And then I managed to see what had done that was a very excited hawk because he was about to get a juicy rabbit and he was tearing it apart as I went to open the door, turned, made eye contact with me, and then I was trapped in my house for a half an hour.
Like this?
Yep. Yeah. So I literally called into work, hawked. Like I was like, I'm going to be late. I don't know what to tell you because all I could think of was either I'm going to scare it away and it's going to lose a meal or it's going to attack the shit out of me. I'm not going to win a hawk fight.
This sounds like a very horrible improv game. One time I hit I've never hit a deer. I've never hit a dog. I hit an owl with my Volkswagen Jetta, my 88 Volkswagen Jetta. I was on a camp road up in Maine and it went similar to what you're talking about. I went, oh, a mouse. And then bam. So the mouse was trying to cross the road and the owl hit it and I hit the owl.
I feel like that's got to be lucky somehow, right?
I mean, you would think. Not for the owl, but for me.
No.
So I had to get out of my car and pull him out of the grill.
Oh.
And he was kind of alive. And I was like talking to him. Oh, yeah, it was a whole thing. Anyway, this took a dark turn.
Took a turn.
Here we are. We have such a fun show this week.
We do.
And we're super excited to be back in our Tuesday night 7 p.m. slot because we're both awake. And that's great.
And hopefully so are you.
Hopefully so are you, and you're tuning in. And we have so much fun stuff to talk about tonight. And let's get right to our guest, shall we? Because I'm so excited. Yeah. So we can't think of a better way to kick off season 2 with our first guest of the season. He's a rapper. I would call him a lyricist, a host, a personality, an actor, and a brilliant writer. Please put your hands together by yourself in your house for Zach Sherwin.
Hi, Buds.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's good.
I didn't know I was the first guest of season 2. I'm not sure if you can see how honored I am, but it is serious. It's a lot of honor.
Yes. Well, we're psyched to have you. We're so happy you're here.
Oh, I was very pumped to get the invite yesterday. Hey, can I say 2 things about what's been said so far?
Yes.
Okay, Kelly, I feel like you really sometimes affect a character that's sort of like a snuggly, sleepy little bunny type sort of thing.
Okay.
And is that fair? Do you feel
That's fair,
mischaracterized?
yeah. I mean, we've known each other a long time. I will take that feedback from you. Yes.
Right, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Right. And so I was thinking that Kamala Harris's first name kind of sounds like saying Kelly McFarland in that like sleepy little slur voice.
Calvin.
If you really smooth it out, you have to do a lot of work.
Really like blend it.
A little bit more on point. One time I was outside the post office in my neighborhood and I heard a thwack. And I looked over and a decapitated pigeon was like, it was practically still bouncing. And I just like looked up and sitting up in a tree about, I don't know, 20 feet up was a big fat hawk with a pigeon head in its claws looking super happy.
Well, so wait, so chickens can still walk around without their heads, but pigeons literally need their heads to walk.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What do you do? What happens?
Smarge, that's very fast that you did that. That was good.
I also love the noise it made. Thwack.
Yeah, it was dramatic. Yeah. I was talking to I'd run into a couple other comedians and we were saying hi and all of us whipped our heads around. A privilege that the pigeon could not have participated in at that point.
Wah, wah, pigeon.
We looked up and the hawk like took the pigeon's head and turned it around to the side a little bit.
The hawk does his type 5 with the pigeon head. He's like, drinking water, making the pigeon talk. Pigeons are so gross, and I also always feel sorry for them.
Yeah,
because this is so much.
That's
like
a
this
lot
is
of
a
effort.
lot. Like they have to. We're all doing it now. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. You know what's funny? I left off the list, Zach, and this is very strange. I didn't list comedian because I always think, well, I know you're a comedian, and I think, Smarge, we know you're a comedian. When I think about what you do, it's like jumping out of an airplane to me. Like, let's get right to it. So you have a great show called The Crossword Show, and you're doing the Crossword Show solos. And I've been a guest on your Crossword Show before, and I didn't twice, and I did not do very well, and because I'm not very good at crosswords.
Incorrect.
However, I sat there the whole time like a giant 5-year-old, so impressed, and it's such a joyful show, and you bring such an interesting spin to every word that you say, and that's what makes the show so much fun.
Thank you. I'm now the pride I was brimming with before has been replaced with a shy appreciativeness.
Okay.
But here's what I want to say about you and the Crossword Show. So first of all, you've done it twice, as you said, and once was in Boston, and I had like the time of my life, and it was one of the last. It was the second to last show experience I would have before Tom Hanks' Wednesday and the world shutting down.
Yes.
So that was really fun and special. Now, the first time you did the show was in Portland, Maine, and it was the last show before we figured out an essential way for it to run that totally revolutionized things. And we left the first show you were on, and we were like, that was rough. We need to rethink how this works. And we were saying, thank God Kelly McFarland was on to like help keep it moving because we had some work we needed to do. And we figured it out, but that was a key show. So actually, I'm going to dead it here. I'm going to put it to bed. I've always felt a little self-conscious because I was like, I love this show so much. I care a lot about what Kelly thinks. And she was kind of on like a rough one. And I'm just going to let that go. Life's too short.
Let it go. And you should have called me just to talk about that.
Well, we're all working through things at our own pace. But you're right.
But Smarge was at the show. Yeah, Smarge
show. Yeah.
In Boston.
I remember hugs were very awkward because we weren't sure if we were allowed to do it after the show. And as someone who occasionally performs but also sees shows, I have a really bad habit of like sitting there watching, going like, okay, can I just enjoy? Like, what would I do? And I was blown away by both of you. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, how the hell are they doing this? Like, I would have lost all ability to speak. I would have just been totally incoherent, and it blew me away. Like the intelligence, the candor, the humor, the joy. It really does. Like it does. It makes you excited. Like it makes you excited about words, you know. And then you sit there and you go, like, how did he? What the? Oh, you know.
I mean, for people who haven't seen it, well, like, let's give that little bit of context, Zach, because we're talking about it and we're not telling anybody what the show's like. We're like, you should see it. Thanks for coming on. I love you. Yeah.
And also, you can't see it right now. It's a live show, and so this is just a big tease. I'll give the one sentence description. It's called The Crossword Show, and I collaborate with someone, a different person for each show, but it's always someone who makes puzzles, crossword puzzles for the New York Times. And it's a panel of comedians, which has twice included Kelly, solving a crossword puzzle live on stage. But every time they get a word right, we take the show down like a little rabbit hole of like comedy or wordplay or trivia or just sort of random, I don't know, just and then you know, comedians solve it. But here's what I want to say about having you on, Kelly. I have a lot of I wear a lot of hats in that show. Like I have to host it, and there's just a lot to keep track of. And so when comedians are just straight bringing it and being entertaining, it takes so much responsibility, and I can just be like the authority figure. Like if we have a show where the guests are really shy and I have to be the heavy keeping it moving, but also be responsible for fun happening, I just am sometimes like, this is too much. I have too much to do. But so having you on is invariably, and this is the thing, we can't just have this be us blowing smoke up each other's butts the entire time, but you do have something that I think is essential for entertainers who are really doing it, which is that you really know who you are. And it's so it enables you to be this Kelly character, which is almost 100% aligned with your actual self off stage, like in any situation. So like you took a lot of heat off of me, and I'm trying to do that on your show. And that's why I'm coming in with decapitated pigeon stories. I just want to let you sit back, and I'll be the kind of talking guy. Yeah. It's just,
well, here's the thing. We are getting called out in the comments for just always everybody. So, I mean, I'll be the heavy hitter. You know, Zach, you're a dumb asshole. How did you come up with this idea? You know, like,
nice.
and when I think of you, I just think of somebody who can't string two words together. So,
well, way to tee me up for the stuff I have to say about you, Christina. The gloves are off.
So I have to tell you, Matt, so producer Matt is amazing, and he is private chatting right now, and he said, holy shit, and he's gonna be mad at me. Matt, don't be mad at me. Holy shit, is this Albert Einstein from Epic Rap?
Yes,
yes, honey, yes, this is yeah.
That is what I wanted to ask, because like I know your career in some ways, not all of it, but like, you know, we've worked together many, many years ago. I've seen various progressions of it. So that it's not a traditional trajectory, right? Like you've come up with something that's very different, very new. What made you kind of go in that direction? Is there anything that pulled you specifically, or was it just kind of like, I want to do something different, you know?
I think it's just being in it for a really long time. Yeah. I love the show because I get to do comedy and I get to rap. The clues are raps in the crossword show. They work like normal crossword puzzle clues, but they also are like rhyming lyrics. So there's a couple clue raps over the course of a show. But I get to do comedy, which is something I've been doing for, you know, as I don't need to tell either of you, many years. And I get to rap and I get to have fun with words, which is another thing I like to do that is separate from rap. I like to do that even if there's no rap music involved with it. I get to host, which I like to do. And yeah, I get to give little trivia quizzes. It's just like all these things. And so I could never have predicted that I would figure it out. And it took like a piece of luck coming in, which is someone suggesting the idea to me and saying, I make crossword puzzles. A really talented guy named Will Nediger was like, I make crossword puzzles. We should figure out a project. I initially viewed it with annoyance and was like, oh God, okay. What if you write a puzzle and then I'll write clues that are raps? And he was like, yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea. And then it all came out from there. But what's nice about the show is that it combines all these things I've been doing. And so I get to feel like I'm using, you know, more of my brain than I have doing any other one thing before.
That's awesome.
It's so, I think we have can we show a clip, Zach, of you? Do you mind?
No, I mean.
Are you sure? Could you imagine,
What's it
imagine
up?
if it's just like a clip of you and I hanging out drinking coffee?
That'd be awesome. I would laugh my ass off if that's what Matt found.
I saw you. I'm not sure. Producer Matt pulled one. We'll
Yeah,
just play
let's
a minute or
see what
so.
happens.
No, let's see what it is. Oh, it's from the solos. This is good.
Wait, can I set this up, Matt, before you play?
Yeah, we can have you set it up.
Okay, so like I said before, when the comedians get a word right, and as I don't need to tell either of you, but I'll explain for the viewers, we go down a little like rabbit hole of content. So if the word was pelican, then I have some jokes or a little fact that's funny about pelicans. And so when quarantine hit, we were like, we can't do live shows anymore. We got to pivot. And so myself and the producers there's two other people, I keep saying we, but we were like, well, what if we made some short videos that each one was a self-contained rabbit hole, doesn't need the scaffolding of the whole show to make sense, just as its own little self-contained thing, and it'll be a way to keep things going. And so those videos are called solos, and it looks like Matt has the very first one queued up, and I think that's the context I want to provide.
Cool.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to this Crossword Show Solo. I'm your host, Zach Sherwin, and today we're going to be talking about a word from our third puzzle, cross country. In our grid, it's 10 across, and our clue for it is King Louis, for example. Pause the video here if you want to think about it and take a guess, or you can just keep watching as I tell you that the answer is ape. Yes, King Louis is an ape. Specifically, he's a character from Disney's Jungle Book movies. That's him over there on the left. Now, in the original 1967 film, King Louis was voiced by the so-called King of Swing, the musician Louis Prima. His last name is spelled P-R-I-M-A, and those happen to be the first 5 letters of the word primate, which is a synonym for ape, our answer word. I like to imagine that the last 2 letters of primate stand for that's entertainment. In 2016, Disney rebooted The Jungle Book. This time around, King Louis looked much more menacing and was voiced by Christopher Walken. He's a celebrity people love to imitate, and imitate is a synonym for ape, our answer word. That's entertainment. Back to King Louis, whose signature musical number is the song I Wanna Be Like You. Take a look at the cover of the 1971 Disneyland Double 7-inch. You can see Louis Prima's name up there at the top, and there's King Louis over on the right. He's being a little rougher with Mowgli than his friends Baloo the bear and Bagheera the panther seem comfortable with. Now I'd like to recap and organize some of the information I've presented you with so far. Again, The Jungle Book is a Disney film. Its major characters include King Louis, voiced originally by Louis Prima, and then, in the reboot, by Christopher Walken. There's also Baloo, who's a bear, and Bagheera, a black panther, and therefore a member of the genus Panthera, along with other big cats like lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars. Take a second to appreciate that highlighted area in the middle, which represents a very specific zone of overlap. Now, Christopher Walken credits his success in Hollywood to never saying no to a role. Among the many roles he's said yes to over the years is Reed Thimble, the villain, in a 2002 Disney film called The Country Bears, which bombed at the box office, has a 29% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and earned Walken a Golden Razzie nomination for Worst Supporting Actor. Maybe
Matt, can you pause it?
some of the roles. The cast of The Country Bears also includes
I just don't want to give it all away.
Yeah.
I want people to go to your YouTube channel because that they can binge all of this there, right?
It's like a magic trick, though. Like you're watching it all happen, and you're like, "What? Where is he going to go with this? What's going to happen?" And then I'm always surprised. Like I love it.
When we were on your show in Boston, I was on with Noye, who's very
Brown
talented
West,
comedian.
amazing comedian.
Noye Brown West, and she and I always bond over the fact that we both have OCD. And so one of the things that we love, we were talking about it on the side, is these rabbit holes always come full circle. To me, feels so good. It's like every time you finish one, I'd be like, that was great. because it's complete and whole. You know what I mean? Like nothing feels unbalanced. And I think that the audience has a moment where they get to feel that too. And while someone else is writing the crosswords, you write all the raps though. You write all your rhymes, you write all your raps. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you spit them.
Yes, that's true. I do. I'm such a rule follower that it really gives me satisfaction to like show the audience that we all did our homework, and if we paid attention, then it's all gonna like check out the right way. So I'm very sympathetic to the part of you that's like, and we're back. Good.
Yeah, I always feel good when we come all the way back. It's like, okay, we did it.
I have a team of people who works on those. We've done 21 of those videos since August 3rd, 2020, which is like I've never put out I've been making YouTube videos for a long time, and I believe actually one of my collaborators may be watching this show, Ian Brownell, who, you know, we made a bunch of videos together. Anyways, but so I've never put videos out at this pace, even in the thick of the days when I was releasing a lot of music videos. And we have a team of people without whom I wouldn't be able to make them, including the amazing comedian and animator Alex Cole, who made that Zone of Overlap graphic. I haven't watched it in a while, and it really made me laugh to see it again. But another person who makes these videos is our audio guy, whose name is Izzy Maxwell. And Izzy is so unrelentingly consistent on communication. He always addresses every point in an email. And at a certain point, I just realized that communicating with someone who is so attentive to detail was seriously therapy in the Trump era, where like things get said and never followed up on, and like no one's ever held accountable for anything. And like promises, even Trump's bad promises, like I'm glad he was such a terrible president, but like part of me is like, it's good that we didn't build the wall, but I'm like, well, what about the well, you know, like what the hell happened to that? It just all contributes to the sense of chaos, and there's like no ground underneath our feet. So Izzy was a source of that for me in the course of making solos, because he just always would do everything he said he was going to do, and then also see stuff that I didn't see, and it was great. And so I hope that you feeling that the show comes back around is like a nice version of that same thing, because I appreciate it when people do it for me. Yeah,
it feels like you tie it up in a nice bow, and it also is so thoughtful, and I love a good rabbit hole. I know Smars does too. Like we love to like beat something to death, right? And
I love beating shit, and I love rabbit holes.
Totally. I mean, we talked about rabbits earlier. Didn't the hawk kill one?
I'm so excited.
Goodbye. You gotta go now. I'm sorry.
That feels. Yep, there's the hawk right there.
The rabbit hole is like the top of its neck, where the
where the head was.
I feel like we should rebrand it and call a rabbit hole a pigeonhole, because that's what the pigeon had when that hawk ripped its head off, was a hole where its head used to be.
You'd have to rebrand both rabbit holes and pigeonholes. They're
pigeon
things.
Already a thing.
I didn't realize either was branded to begin with. So.
I mean, someone branded those.
Yeah, they get a royalty.
Didn't even acknowledge pigeonhole was already a word.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you two a quick question, or have we exceeded our time?
Stay forever.
You can talk as long as you want.
Wow. Are you two into resolutions? Do you have New Year's resolutions?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
But no.
May I inquire? Okay.
So I stopped doing resolutions because I feel like those always sort of fail. But instead, what I've started to adopt is the idea of like a word or a theme for the year, like sort of like a guiding principle, so to speak.
Are you a Gretchen Rubin fan?
I'm not, but
okay, she's into this.
Is she? Like
word of the year.
I don't know that name, but I'm writing it down to check her out. But yeah, so
she would approve of that.
Nice.
Okay, sorry, go on.
But no, so that's sort of my thing that I've sort of started to adopt and you know what? Honestly, I don't remember what 2020's was. I didn't write it down, and I was all excited about it, and then 2020 happened and it went away. I remember 2019, and this year is just movement, like moving in some direction, because I felt very stagnant, and so it's to move my body and mind and expand and explore in different ways. And I will probably now, and I didn't know this at the time, be physically moving my apartment sort of situation. So it's already coming to fruition. But yeah, so
move.
Yeah,
Love
move.
it.
Yeah.
Move.
Love it.
I don't do resolutions, but I do an intentions. I start with a gratitude list and then I do an intentions list because I think that just kind of keeps my head in the right space. And I've had to do that several times last year, like to re-up it almost, just to kind of be like, okay, let's be grateful. What are we grateful for? Write them down, put them on a Post-it. Let me see them every day. Because I think if you're grateful for certain things, you'll lean into those things and show them and honor them in some way. What about you, Zach? Do you do a resolution?
I'm a new resolution-er. I did some this year. But actually, instead of talking about the boring thing I was going to say, Smars, your word of the year thing makes me think that I also adopted a motto this year, and it's spend your reward points. I had this coffee shop where I liked to work before the pandemic, and I had like 120 something like rewards points, and it would have been like 10 free fancy coffee drinks. And I just was like, I love knowing I got all those for whenever I want them. Yeah. I'm just, it's even more fun than drinking them to me to have them all and know that they're there. And then the thing hit, and I can't, it's like none of it is applicable at all. And I thought, like, that's no way to live, man. Spend those damn reward points. Get your free coffees. What's that?
Did they close or?
No, they're still open, but like now I write from home and I don't need to hang out in a coffee shop anymore. And what am I going to drive over there to get a free coffee?
They're still waiting for you though. Like eventually, and you won't feel guilty about taking, like, I can imagine, like, this place has had no customers for like a year. Like, coffee for everybody.
I show up 10 days in a row and order the fanciest drink on the menu.
You know what to do.
I earned it.
You know what to do.
I'll see you next week.
Handing the card over, making it rain with one card. Latte.
It's more holes than it is paper because it's just all like punched out. All
like a sad kindergarten snowflake, just like, I made this with safety scissors.
Right. I bought like a one metal binder at Staples, like a ring, and I have my cards on a little.
on one ring.
They see you coming, they start pulling down shutters. Word boys coming! Get everybody! Come on, get to
You laminate.
Sorry, we're. They're like, we don't have any more oat milk. You drank it all in your fucking lattes, your free lattes. You're putting us out of business.
I love getting stuff for free if I feel like when it's like the reward. I've never thought of that before, Zach. You're right. Like, use your rewards.
I do the same thing. I between like credit card reward points and stuff like that, so many of it end up expiring because I don't use them. Like, I save them. It's like, I want to save them for that special thing. That special thing never happens. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, now they're defunct in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Don't ever give me a gift card. I'm bad with gift cards. I kind of do the same thing. And which makes me feel terrible because I know someone spent actual money on that. But it's like, I'll put it away because I want to honor this person with really using this for something special. And then 2 years goes by and Nordstrom doesn't have those boots anymore. And what am I going to do about it?
Nordstrom. Good
Zach,
choice.
people can find you on Twitter at Zach Sherwin. And also they can subscribe to your Patreon.
Yeah.
And that's something that everyone should be doing. Because you do a live show once a month on your Patreon.
Yeah, we do a little live stream. We have
a live stream. Do you rap on that? What do you do, you little lyricist wizard? What do you do?
I don't rap on the live stream. I do have fun guests. This month we have Rhea Butcher, the comedian, and they were recently the subject of a USA Today crossword puzzle clue. So we're going to talk about what that was like. And I do actually on my Patreon put out a new song a month. I'm like rating the back catalog and going through unreleased stuff.
Nice.
This month I think it's going to be a rap I wrote long ago that was inspired by a palindrome I wrote, which is same forwards and backwards. Broth, cayenne, yacht, orb. Those 4 nouns are the same, spelled forward and backward. So the verse is like, I wrote a palindrome that inspired a tune about eating spicy soup on a boat to the moon. It's absurd and honestly a lot to absorb, but it's broth, cayenne, yacht, orb. It starts like that.
I mean,
you're the only person I've ever known to use asparagusic acid in a
deep cut.
And
Deep cut, Smars.
I still think about that when I eat asparagus. Like, I'm like, it's,
Then my work here is done.
Yeah, thank you.
You had I was in a video for you once. Do you remember shooting that? How much fun that was?
It was really fun.
It was very silly and very fun. And people can find all of that on your YouTube, right? Like there's a deep dive if people want to
Yes, there's a lot of music videos.
Until they're pruny.
Yeah. And 21 solos, if you like that preview we got before. Matt, I wondered if we were going to watch the whole thing. I was like,
I know. I had a moment where I was like, I don't feel like we should watch the whole thing because...
Not because of the giveaway, the surprise.
We're not giving it away. We're not going to do it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I can make interested faces of my own video for another 4 minutes. I've kind of brought out the whole menu by now.
Well, Zach, tomorrow's the palindrome, right?
Oh my God, yes. I've been inundated with people informing me that tomorrow is like the best palindrome ever.
Sorry.
Don't feel bad. No one's done it live yet. It's all been texts. You're my first face-to-face.
Well,
it was like when Hamilton came out, people were like, have you heard of Hamilton? It's rap, but it's about history. Do you know
that guy? Do you know
him? I love Hamilton. I stand by it.
It's popular.
I mean,
it was well received,
but I really enjoy it.
Well received. I love the idea of it was well received. It's well received.
Oh, Zach. Will you come back on the show and talk more things later in another time, perhaps?
Well, I would love to. And actually, one thing that I'm just going to start. So we released our last solo, the season 2, and for now, at least, series finale came out yesterday, less than 24 hours ago.
Okay.
And the reason we stopped making the videos, they're really fun to make. Is that true? Am I telling you a real thing? There are things about them that are fun. They're also a tremendous amount of work. And, there's only so many hours in a day. So I'm going to start writing a 6th crossword show. All the other ones are live only, ever. I wrote a 5th one at the beginning of quarantine, and it's so GD good. I cannot wait till it's a thing to do live shows again, because this one is like the farthest out I've ever gone. Anyways,
It'll be back.
So let's all bare our upper arms. So the 6th show is going to be all virtual, and I'm going to need to test little like games out and stuff like that. And so one test ground is going to be my Patreon live stream, but I would love if the stars align to come on here and maybe field test a couple of games with y'all.
Yeah, anytime. I
don't know if you noticed, I just passed out.
I saw you gray and then come back.
But I'm back now. And welcome. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Please. We would love that. That would be amazing.
That'd be great.
And also people should go to your Patreon and subscribe so that they can check out what you're working on. You're always working on something so fun and cool. Yeah.
You graying out is like nature's version of Matt taking the show back to 1.
Back to 1.
And we're back.
I tell myself now to go back to 1. Like if I'm trying to do something and I can't do it right, I'm like, back to 1.
2021 motto.
Yeah, that's my motto.
Yeah.
Zach, we love you.
Thank you.
You're the hoopiest of the hoops.
Thank you. It's great to see you both. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Zach. And we'll send everybody your way and let us know when you want to come back.
Yeah. Be well.
So much love.
Oh, what a doll.
I mean, I just adore him.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I like the most about him? And I know people have been saying this since season 1, and now apparently we both do it in season 2, Smars. So it's just continued. I like good humans. Zach and I met years and years ago. And the second I met him, I felt like I had known him for years. He's talented. He's smart. He's caring. He's present. And I just love him.
One of the things that I love about him is, as you said, like he's present and caring. There's so few people that you talk to, and not to out like the comedy scene, but like, when you're working in entertainment, you're working in fast-paced businesses, you ask someone how they're doing, and it's just kind of a throwaway question, like, Zach gives a shit. Like it's a really, it's almost off-putting in a way where you're like, what? Oh, you want me to answer this question? Oh, okay. You know, it's remarkable, honestly.
He's just sincerely lovely and just, big-hearted guy.
That's we wanted to compliment people a little bit more.
Yeah, we just like to compliment people. I'm sorry if people don't like to be kind to other people. Well, we're going to move into, it's been brought to my attention that people like it when I name segments. So I would like to introduce the next segment. And this next segment is called Smars Thinks.
Yeah, so this is some thoughts that I've had. Smars Thinks.
Let's go to Smars Thinks. Oh, do we need a jingle? Is Matt waiting for me to sing the jingle?
Probably. Go for it.
Smars gets an email. Smars gets a note. Smars will figure it out. No joke. Smars Thinks.
Cal, I love that. That was real good. So yeah, as Kelly was explaining, we're going to take a little diversion. So we just had lots of fun with Zach. But we're going to take a quick break from our sort of regularly scheduled fun times to dive into something a little bit deeper. Now, as Kelly also intimated, this is spawned in part by a request I received. A viewer had been watching the show and asked that we tackle something. Now, I should preface this entire thing with the fact that I am not an expert. I am not a pundit. I am in no way someone who is well-versed in politics or hugely knowledgeable about history. I want to get that out there. I know things. I'm relatively intelligent. I understand some things. And honestly, I think the thing I know the most is how much I still need to learn and what I don't know. So given that, I actually believe that's part of the design. I think that we're never meant to know exactly what's going on. I don't know that our brains could handle it. So we never quite get the full story. I think that it takes effort, it takes intelligence, it takes time to get to the truth. And until recently, outside of voting or just trying to be a good person, I've got to say I haven't really been all that active in my society or in the world in general. Like I've done my thing, kept in my own lane, and that was that. You know, I stood up for things when I felt like I needed to, but for the most part, I kind of stayed in my own lane, and I think that's wrong. So the events of the last few weeks, but moreover, the years and the decades that led up to them have made me realize, they got me thinking, and they made me realize a number of things. And the biggest realization that keeps hitting me over and over in the face is just that we live different lives from people. My life is vastly different from someone that lives out in Kansas. The things that I understand and the things that they understand are day-to-day life, just what we prioritize, they're different. I believe at the base, people are all the same, but our experiences vastly different. So this clearly results in differing viewpoints. You know, we get different stories. We are lied to. We are. It gets confusing. It gets emotional. It gets hard. It drives wedges between people. It even drives families apart in some cases. It makes us do stupid shit. Now, last week, we did touch briefly on the Capitol insurrection. We tried to keep it light, but as we've said, a viewer had reached out specifically asking if we could help unpack, was the word they used, unpack an article describing how Texas real estate agent Jenna Ryan, who had lots of time to live stream and tweet the Capitol attack. She had one really great winner with, "We just stormed the Capitol. It was one of the best days of my life." Well, currently, she's asking our current president, Donald J. Trump, for a pardon. Many others who have been arrested or are incarcerated have as well. They are claiming that they just did what their president asked them to do. I don't know that they're wrong. I really don't. A lot of people went to Washington because Trump told them to. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying I don't know that they're wrong in claiming that. I'm not saying they deserve pardons either. But I'm just saying a group of people heard the president tell them to do something and they said, "Yeah, seems like a good idea." So I'm here to say I can't unpack it. I can't. I'm not qualified. I wouldn't know where to begin. But as I read scores of articles and listened to people talk and just heard things that were beyond my own comprehension, it did get me thinking a lot. So again, we're all getting different information. Some of it's lies. A lot of it is half-truths. And that's on both sides. So I'm not calling out political parties. I'm not calling out media outlets. I'm also not here to praise any of them. But it got me thinking, how do we as American citizens know if we're doing the right thing? And that, my good friends, that is where I think I might be able to help a little bit. So how do we know if we're doing the right things? How do we tell the difference? Let's start easy. If you fly into Washington, D.C. on a private jet to storm the Capitol, you're privileged, not a patriot, okay? You get it? So another one, if you have the means and the forethought to have merch made for your Civil War, you're privileged, not a patriot. If you have ever, and I mean ever, waved a Confederate flag, and it wasn't because of Dukes of Hazzard cosplay, which is still questionable, you're privileged, not a patriot. If you need to put 2 American flags on the back of your truck and they are still overshadowed by your truck nuts, you're an asshole. But also, you're privileged, not a patriot. If you need your mommy to call the Department of Justice on your behalf because they don't serve organic food in prison and you've got a tummy ache, well, you're privileged, not a patriot. That actually happened. If you don't look like this, or this, or this, or this, or even this. And yes, I'm leaving a lot of folks out, but basically, if you have never personally been judged and or benefited solely from your outward appearance or the majority group that you belong to, you have privilege. It doesn't mean that you haven't suffered. It doesn't mean that you haven't worked hard. And it does not mean that you don't deserve all that you have. What it does mean is that you have in some way benefited from something that you were simply born into. But here's the great part. If you have shelter, enough food to eat, the ability to provide for yourself and your family, the opportunity for healthcare and education, and the ability to speak freely and not be persecuted based on race, religion, beliefs, then you have basic human rights. And a U.S. patriot fights to protect those rights, not only for themselves, but for everybody else, until everybody has those basic human rights. And moreover, those patriots understand that the more people that have basic human rights, it doesn't mean that there's any less for them. It just means that we're all better off.
Smart. Thanks. And I agree. Smart. That piece was amazing. Well done. You said you didn't think you could unpack it, but I think you did.
Oh, well, thanks. You know, it was funny because I didn't want to talk at all about the Capitol again. You know, we talked about it briefly and it's been all over the place. So I think we're all a little tired of it and leading in. But yeah, it really got me thinking about like, what is going on here? And, you know, I try very hard to see the good in everybody and try to see things from people's standpoints. And I've had many a conversation with people who are genuinely scared that they believe that their right to free speech is being taken away, or they believe that these things, you know, these terrible things are happening. And a little bit of me feels for them, but then I just stop and realize they don't understand the big picture, you know, and I don't think they're terrible, but I just think they're misled.
Misled and definitely stuck in their beliefs. Do you know what I mean? Like completely stuck in their beliefs. And if you're not always trying to grow and move forward, then what are you doing? What are you doing here? Yeah. I thought that was beautifully done and very true. And also, I just want to bring it back. You can't have an organic food in prison. You can't.
Well, you do now.
I believe that
your mom called. Yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
shaman, then you can get organic food.
Yeah. You
I
know who
usually
isn't?
keep a banana in my horns, but I forgot this time.
Someone spilled on my bearskin suit. That was well done. I loved that. Amazing. And I do feel a new segment coming on from you. Smart, thanks. You know who is a good person and believes in all human rights?
You, Kelly.
Fair, and likewise. Also, it's our birthday girl. Someone's having a birthday today, everyone, and it's Dolly Parton. Dolly, happy birthday, Dolly. Dolly is 75 today.
She's gorgeous. She's amazing.
Gorgeous. Now, Dolly is an icon. And if you don't know who Dolly Parton is, you should take a look, okay? Because Dolly is a singer, a songwriter. If you love the song I Will Always Love You, made famous by Whitney Houston, written by Dolly Parton.
Amazing.
Okay? Dolly has, she posed for Playboy many years ago. And now on her 75th birthday, she's saying, I might do it again.
Really?
I might do it again if it's tasteful. If it's tasteful, I might shoot. Yes. Dolly is an icon. She has donated so much to children, and also she donated $1 million to COVID research recently. And she also runs several programs for kids, and she is a huge like support system and icon in the LGBTQ plus community.
Literally saving
already.
She's literally saving our planet right now.
Yeah, she's literally saving the planet. I will go anywhere she goes. So happy birthday, Dolly. This is her in 2020, by the way. Standing next to, I don't even know who these people are.
Oh, it's Katy Perry and somebody
Demi
else.
Lovato?
I didn't see. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Katy Perry.
I know.
Yeah.
I just love how she's not afraid to speak her mind. So thank you, Dolly, for all you've done, and happy birthday. Many, many happy returns.
Yes. Happy birthday. You can watch Good Night with Dolly. She reads bedtime stories.
What? There was a documentary recently done. Well, not so recently. I don't know what day is it.
Like last year, yeah.
Yeah. I watched it during COVID times, but it was really good. Like I learned quite a bit, and I was just blown away.
She's had a really interesting life, and I still will say. I mean, speaking of mantras, because Zach had us talking about that. 9 to 5 is an amazing movie. That
it's an amazing song.
I mean, the song from it's Dolly sings it. That song, when I had a day job in the corporate world, I would sing that song getting out of bed.
Yep.
It was the only thing that I could like get myself moving to, and I love it so much.
The line, I pour myself a cup of ambition, hits me like every day. And one of my friend's daughters, who's I don't know how old she is, but she's under 10, had said they should have a coffee shop called Cup of Ambition. I'm like, what a great idea. This kid.
I wonder if they do somewhere. And if they don't, should that be our plan B?
Okay, it could be.
If live entertainment doesn't come back, should you and I open a coffee shop?
I'm not gonna lie, a group of lady friends and I are planning a trip to Dollywood as like we're like once this ends and we can get together, we are heading to Dollywood.
I mean, I feel like you've been reading my journal.
The typewriter at the beginning is actually it came from her nails. She had really long.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think it needs a little something. She's like, chick, 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 chick.
Yeah,
there it is. That's it. Love it. Anyway.
I just love her so much. Yes, there's a banner running on the bottom. If you stick around on this Twitch channel, you can enjoy The Boy Detectives that comes on right after this show, Genuine Nonsense. I think that in closing tonight, Smars and I are very excited about something that we both kind of heard about, and then we told each other and we got excited, and that is the inaugural poet for tomorrow is Amanda Gorman, and she was actually selected. We were like fangirling over this. Jill Biden, Jill Biden is a huge fan of hers and made the suggestion.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that, Jill.
I believe it was 3 years ago she was named the Youth American Poet Laureate, and
Yeah.
it was the first ever to hold that title. And she's now about 22 years old, and listening to her speak and hearing her poetry, it really makes me wonder how someone, that young is that brilliant. Truthfully,
Yeah, she went to Harvard University too, which is kind of cool. So she's from has spent some time here. She lives in LA now, and she's also an activist as well as a poet.
Yeah.
And we want to leave you tonight on this eve of the inauguration with a little bit of Amanda Gorman, and she'll take us out. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Genuine Nonsense. Thank you, Zach Sherwin, Smars. Thank you for Smars. Thanks. I loved that and want more of that. More.
I'll try to think some more then.
More.
Thank you, Kelly, as always, and thanks for bringing Dolly up and keeping us going.
Love Dolly. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Amanda Gorman, and this is my poem, The Miracle of Morning. I thought I'd awaken to a world in mourning, heavy clouds clouding, a society storming, but there's something different on this golden morning, something magical in the sunlight. Or taking a jog across the street, a bright-eyed girl chases her dog, a grandma on a porch, fingers her rosaries. She grins as her young neighbor brings her groceries while we might feel small, separate, and all alone. Our people have never been more closely tethered because the question isn't if we can weather this unknown, but how we will weather this unknown together. So on this meaningful morn, we mourn and we mend like lights we can't be broken. Even when we bend as one, we will defeat both despair and disease. We stand with healthcare heroes and all employees, with families, libraries, waiters, schools, artists, businesses, restaurants, and hospitals hit hardest. We ignite, not in the light, but in lack thereof. For it is in loss that we truly learn to love. In this chaos, we will discover clarity. In suffering, we must find solidarity, for it's our grief that gives us our gratitude, shows us how to find hope if we ever shall lose it. So ensure that this ache wasn't endured in vain. Do not ignore the pain. Give it purpose, use it, read children's books, dance alone to DJ music. Know that this distance will make our hearts grow fonder. From a wave of woes, our world will emerge stronger. We'll observe how the burdens braved by humankind are also the moments that make us humans kind. Let each dawn find us courageous, brought closer, heeding the lights before the fight is over. When this ends, we'll smile sweetly, finally seeing, in testing times, we became the best of beings.